There it is. Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there in Video Land, USA. Um, I just had some critical thoughts that come through my mind, and it's something that's brought to the modern age. And this is addressing to the people like Jay Morrisons and the Umar Johnsons. And I see that sometimes on the video, they'll use something hot in the latest wear. And you know, in one video, in the case with Jay Morrison, he was dressed. If you ever see one of his past videos, he dressed like Black Panther. And Umar, he'll take on a great legacy like the people like the Marcus Garvey and Frederick Douglass, you know, of his school that he wants to name it off. I understand everybody trying to make the next part of their life a legacy for thousands of other people for generations to come. The thing about it is, you have to go, if you want to create a legacy, you have to do it the right way with your own community of people who will highly respect you. First of all, you can't have this street slick slide mentality. Malcolm X knew that. Before he was Malcolm X, he was Malcolm Little. And Malcolm Little was before he was Malcolm X, he was going about his reputation the wrong way by doing things, mischievous things that was in the streets, and it led him down a dark and messed up path. And it's not till he landed in prison till his legacy changed, because he talked to the right individuals, and he was raised up under the Nation of Islam. And from there, his life was transformed into one, and they raised him up out of his ways, and it turned to a legacy. If you want to become a great person in the black community, you first you have to be honest. You have to, not only that you have to be charismatic, but there's a point you have to be humble. You have to be stable. You can't be going to the right. You can't be going to the left. You must stay stable in all matters if you want to create a legacy. And create a legacy is not trying to be arrogant, not trying to call something that is not, if you're not presently in. You can't say that you're a prince or something when no one haven't nominated you a prince. And that's a fact. And it had to take a group of people to nominate a prince. If you go to the very land of Africa, and I was supposed to say that I'm a prince or something like that, I have to be labeled to create a legacy in maybe under some Nigerian or one of the other countries where they have kings and princesses. I have to be labeled by them, and then I will carry a name of what my that starts a legacy of over there in the land. If you want to get treated with respect, it must start with the home front among your people in your country that can validate you over into another country. But if you come off in the segment of arrogant and cocky and mischievousness, you're not going to rise to the great legacy. And then people will mock you in your own community because they can't take you seriously, because what makes a great man is not acting and pretending and when his house is not in order. What makes a great man, he has to be balanced all the way through. And this is what Dr. Umar and Jay Morrison have to be. You have to be forthcoming and honest with your people. Not saying that there's going to be people going to be hateful. Not saying that people are going to be jealous. But you got to be forthcoming with your people. You can't be out there running game on people, whether in high places or next to high places to low places. If you want to be great among your own black people, and you want respect from the masses of black people, you may not get it from the masses, but from some, you have to be balanced all the way through. No matter what people thought about, and it might be some black people may not to care. It might be a small percentage of people who in the black community, out of black people, not necessarily the black community, might didn't like the way Malcolm X went about it his way. But then again, versus the vast majority of people who do, and it's the majority of people, that's why they respect. They respect his words. They respect his wisdom. They respect his knowledge of the man who came from Malcolm Little to Malcolm X. It's the same way with Martin Luther King. Now, there's some people have mixed feelings about Martin Luther King, about, he did the nonviolent way. But he created a legacy for himself. And Marcus Garvey created a legacy for himself. But he was a balanced man. He wasn't a dictator. He didn't go around conning and swooning people in the community during his era and during his time. He didn't go around, running game on his people. He didn't go around manipulating his people. He was there because he saw that there was a need. And he knew that his people were in pain. But he knew that, he was royal, he was elegancy, but he was balanced. He didn't go around acting like he was a cocky dictator. He didn't go around saying, I'm the big dog during that time. He dressed with elegance. Marcus Garvey was one of the most balanced men in history. Same way with Malcolm X, the same way with Frederick Douglass, and many other people. They were balanced in their personality during their time. And I can say, if I would say this to Dr. Umar, you need to come back and learn to be balanced. And then you have to go back in order for the masses to respect you. But even though it might be a small percentage of people that somewhat respect you, but the greater scale, when they see your personality, they won't respect you. They won't respect you among your people. And therefore, that's why there are so many are mocking you. And you don't want to be labeled as something like that, as that this guy's not balanced. And then the younger generations figure out along the way that you was something, you wasn't balanced to them. Because when they understand what true leadership is, it's not somebody yelling and cussing and cursing out somebody. That's not setting an example for young people. Using your own people, knowing that your own people need whatever little funds that they got in their community that they can't afford to get ripped off. Like I mentioned in one of the video, when this goes towards Jay Morrison, you can't go around taking advantage of people that that they're not skillfully they're uneducated as far as business, and that's not the right thing to do to people. That is so wrong when you take advantage and knowing that you're not going to come through with their money. And even for the ones who are able to be, there are black people who know somewhat about business, and some that do. It's not wise. You're not creating a good legacy. You're not helping out Malcolm X. You're not helping out Marcus Garvey by being mischievous. That's not the way they did. That using with the red, black, and green flag, which is supposed to stand for pride, is not supposed to stand for arrogance. It's not supposed to stand for cunning and crafting. It's not supposed to show other nations that you're unstable. And even the ones that you plan to go and live in one of the most greatest continent on the earth is Africa. And it's not there for you, what you're telling, and it's like they're going to look at you, because they're going to, at some point with the technology, look at back where you from and say, who is this man? When you get to the continent and they find out that you're unstable, the last thing some African country, which there are some people there are some leaders and some individuals that are unstable, but they don't want someone coming over there is unstable because they want to see balance. The people over there is looking for balance when it comes to racial pride and heritage and everything else. So this is what I'm saying. You must show balance. And the reason why some people don't respect some people on social media is because they don't show no balance. This is the truth. That's why people are mocking you, saying this guy's a joke, man. This guy, he's a con artist. This guy he's on some psychological game, pulling game on folks, and he's not being honest. It's not that they're jealous of you because the fame, how many views and likes you get on your video. It's not because the game because you're popular and maybe a few women find you attractive. That's not what it is. The legacy of it is what do your characters speak on it as a vast majority. Because if you have good character and you're balanced and you're educated and good at your craft of what you do, people are going to know it. But you must be humble and be balanced. And when you go off all the deep end and you use a different trickery and people find out what you're really doing and you're not really who the image of a Marcus Garvey in the case of Umar. You in the case of Malcolm X, in the case of J. Morrison, if you don't fit the image, you're going to be mocked. Because most people, when they study history about these individuals from the past, they see how balanced as they was. They see that the personality was balanced. It wasn't perfect. It was direct, but they were balanced. They know when. They hold the contention. If you look at old footage of Malcolm X, the Marcus Garvey, and all these other great black leaders, they were always balanced. They didn't go calling other black people coons and niggas. Excuse that terminology. They didn't go around doing stuff like that. You know, they didn't go around saying terminology like that on film. They didn't go around even among their own people. You know, when he said the house and field Negro, that's the terminology I do. You didn't see Malcolm X cussing and acting crazy, or any other leader. You didn't see Martin Luther King acting like that. You didn't see other great people who spoke that had a video, who are great black leaders, even in their writings, didn't talk like that. So they were balanced, and that's why they were men of great stature, and there were women of great stature. I mean, and there were some tremendous sisters that were black women that were great stature. They didn't go around being sassy, and they didn't go around acting belligerent and everything. They didn't go around when they made their point in history among black women. So some black women, just like some black men, if you want to create a legacy for yourself for the future generations to come, you must be balanced. Learn to get to the one that can get you to the balance. And don't try to count on other phases of spirituality to get you to the balance. There's only one that can balance you out. It's the one that knew you in your mother's womb. He's the only one that can balance you out. The creator of all things in the earth or outside the earth. He's the only one that keep you balanced as a black man and as a black woman. He's the only one that can keep you balanced. And sometimes some people are not balanced. So when the audience of YouTube, Facebook, and other people who are black, when they see in educating their mind, when they see old videos of Malcolm X, when they see Marcus Garvey, they see a balanced individual. Or Harriet Tubman, she was a balanced individual. In great Sonora True, she was a balanced individual as a black woman. These were black women that were balanced. And how many black women do you see today that are balanced? They're balanced, and they know the suffering, but they know how to fight and go for their own people and be proud of who they are. In the time of the most horrific time in history, when most of our people were getting killed, lynched in different eras of America, Where's your balance? Where's your balance at as you? And now that they don't have this, they didn't have the social media back then. They didn't have Facebook. They didn't have YouTube. They didn't have any platform. But when they got to a major platform, they were balanced. They were balanced on all the field. They were always balanced. And no matter if it was on a major network, no matter if it was in their personal life, someone feeling people got to see the balance. But if you over here trying to be articulate over here, but when you get among your own people saying, I can just be raunchy and just on the balance, then that's telling somebody who is trying to be the future black leaders that you go in a false way. In order to make good future black leaders, you got to be balanced. You got to be fair. Start with your people. You got to be, and that's what brings the great character in the black community. That's why people respect it. Even today, even though some people whatever your opinions of Farrakhan is, because he's balanced. He's truth. But I got him. I admire the man. He's balanced. He's not over here. He's not over here. He's not. No matter if he's private with the person, or whether he's on private one-on-one with the black person, whether he's speaking to 1,000 to 1,000,000 people, he's always balanced. Farrakhan is always balanced. He's not talking over here and talking over here, and and trying to be. He learned. Maybe in his beginning he was. But he learned to balance himself out. The nation of Islam, and this is the nation of Islam leader, the current one that everybody idolized, and that's what he knew as a responsibility, as a speaking of a leader to his people, so he could affect when people look over other people, whether they are other blacks from other nations or people that's in the hood, in the city, to the inner city, to the suburbs. When they see Farrakhan, they see a balanced man. And Umar, Jay, and many other people, you got to, if you want to be balanced, watch Farrakhan and different individuals who are balanced because they embodied that over time. And first of all, you must really for your people. You can't do no shady stuff on the side. You can't, especially when you come from the same neighborhood and going back to the same people and taking advantage of people who are not they're unstable. Some people in that community is unstable. They need to see someone who's stable. So that would encourage them to be stable. So to rise them up, because to be a great leader is also at some point to give back to help rise them up from every generation of every level, not just at the children level, but even it would maybe spark even the adults to encourage them to rise to their level. Because at the same time, because the father and the mother rise to their level, then the black child see that the black parents are rising to their level. So they say their life turn around, then they see the example of their life turn around. And it's separated from the male, from the female. In the case of Dr. Umar Johnson, that's not direct. You must respect the male as well as the female for the boy, the black boy, and the black girl. You can't take the male out of the equation, and you can't talk to strong men like that. You can't be unbalanced, because a man will know another man if he's unbalanced. And there's a lot of men who are fathers know you are unbalanced. And this is the truth. And they won't respect you. If you can't get respect in your own land, what makes you think you're going to get respect somewhere else? If the majority seeing how you cunning and you crafting other people, how are you going to be balanced for your legacy? What legacy? So I will rethink. See, I don't know what a lot of black people in the black YouTube community is. And some of them don't realize this. You can have a messed up beginning, but if you don't allow life to evolve you into something great, so that people can see that the change, and it will encourage them to change their background if I'm going to get the young men to change their life from their background so they can be better fathers, they can be better, and women can be better mothers, black women, and if you can get the percentage of it so black children won't take the same path of destruction, and so they won't go and be influenced by the path of destruction, you must be balanced if you want to create a great legacy. Listen to what I'm saying. And this is coming from, and this is not me speaking. I feel that that is the God that speaks through me. If you want to create a legacy, change the way you present yourself. Change the way, if you had to come off of social media and redirect and even come humble to yourself. Because right now, you're up under a false spirit. You're up under a spirit of idolatry. Of idols that's trying to be and say that you think that you are a God. So after a while, you go start pointing yourself and saying that you're Messiah. Next thing you know, you get this king complex. And next thing you know, you think you God. You are not God. You're not a king. You don't fit the reference of a prince. You don't fit the references of a king. When you take on a title of a king is balanced. A prince is balanced. A Messiah is balanced. That's the truth. A Messiah is not bipolar. A king ain't supposed to be bipolar. A prince is not supposed to be, you can't make one minute you go one way, one minute you go another way. That sends a bad situation that you're unbalanced. And when you on the media and people are looking at your imbalance across America and different parts of the world, they see that you're not stable, and therefore they say, what is going on with these Americans? And this is coming from your Caribbean brothers. This is coming from your African brothers. Your different Haitian, Baham. That's why they need to see balance in the black Americans. But if you got black Americans that's going out there and going off on the deep end, and they seeing that they own in their own community don't respect them because they're trying to do some scandalous stuff. Well, they said, well, they got this. How can I, respect them or put them at a higher accolade? Or because your British brothers, black brothers over there, they seeing the same thing, and they wonder what the heck is going on with our American counterparts. I'm just saying. And because you got your own black counterparts is pointing the most dysfunction out in your own community. If you want to create a legacy, first thing you got to do, get off of social media, one, and figure out, and go and research and study the films, study Marcus Garvey, really study him, really, you know how when, if anybody who's acted in theater or went to one of the most greatest actors to a community actor to someone who worked on Broadway to a highest paying actor in Hollywood, they had to study people. You know how Denzel Washington became great at Malcolm X? He had to take time and study his people, and that's how he became so rigid in Malcolm X, because he studied Malcolm X. He didn't just quote Malcolm X, he studied Malcolm X. That's why he got it was a nomination performance, because he got to the point that he tapped in to in understanding, watching his movements and everything. And so people, when they see the Malcolm X story, they see at one point, even Spike Lee said that at some point he couldn't tell if it was Denzel or Malcolm X, because that's how good he became. And he said that's why Denzel Washington is one of the most respected black men among actors. Just like the men who, this young man who passed away, Chaz Boseman, and this goes back to him. And I saw Jay Morrison wear the Black Panther. You know what made Chaz Boseman great? Because he was balanced. He was always a humble, balanced individual. If you look at all his interviews, whether it's with in front of black media, white media, or just with individuals, he was always balanced. The man who played Black Panther, when he was living in the earth, he was always balanced. And therefore, that's why he made such a great effect all around the world and throughout the country. Even that it affected other people who liked his character because he became the character and he knew he had to be balanced. And he was and they say, yeah, what you see, his fellow actors even said this. He was balanced. The people who acted with him from all walks of, even the ones in the Avenger movies and whatever, and the co-stars in Black Panther. And people say throughout his life, he said, that's Chaz. He was always balanced. He was all, and so that's what makes him unique. So every time when you look at it, someone upload a video of Chaz Boseman, the guy who played Black Panther, that's what made him so unique, because he was balanced. And his family knew he was balanced, his friends knew he was balanced, and all these other people that was around him, they knew he was balanced. His personality, because he displayed it. He displayed greatness, and that's what he brought the character to his acting. When he played Thurgood Marshall as Jackie Robinson, he brought the balance to the characters, and he was a balanced man. He didn't get cocky. He didn't go around thinking. He didn't start calling, I'm the one of the most greatest actors of them all. I'm the actor. I'm the King Kong of actors. Chaz Boseman didn't do that. Denzel Washington didn't do that. Morgan Freeman don't do that. Samuel Jackson don't do that. And they didn't know some, and many other, Danny Glover, and so on, and so many, Andrew Bassett for black women, and many other black women. Even Whitney Houston never said, I'm one of the greatest. I'm the King Kong. I'm the ultimate woman. So why you never see Whitney Houston being unbalanced? You never see Aretha Franklin being unbalanced. You never seen Patti LaBelle, Gladys Knight, or Dionne Warwick, or any of these great black women being unbalanced. Tina Turner is not unbalanced. They wasn't unbalanced. And that's how they got the respect as black women. And these were just black women that they strong, and many other black women that come was during their era and during their time. And and when you see them on camera, off camera, they're balanced. When they talk among their own people, they're balanced. When they talk among other people, they're balanced. This is how, that's the secret. So when you show at all, look at the actors, the singers, look at all the great people who are black. They're always balanced. Majority of them are always balanced. They're not talking, they're not boosting all themselves. They're not, quoting something from past, they admire, some of them admire people of what the philosophy of Martin Luther King. Some of you understand the philosophy of Malcolm X. But they're and this is what the Jay Morrisons and Umar Johnsons, a different individual, they were balanced. They were balanced, always balanced. And you ain't got to be cussing and act and cussing and trying to keep up with. I'm gonna speak the language of the world, the hood. You don't have to be balanced. See, when people, if you know how to balance your speech and you know how to balance your personality, when you know how to balance things, people from the hood to the rural area, people from other places, when they see how the way you are on camera, they see that you balance. And when they see your parents say, yeah, and people who grew up with you say, yeah, he was always like that. He was humble. And people would say, wow, he had a real great character. And that would teach other generations, and with Chaz and all the great actors, whatever, because kids say, I want to be like him. And they will watch film. And they mimic because they want to be balanced. They want to be balanced. They want to be peacemakers. It's in children, black boys, black girls. They don't want to be acting all crazy, going one from in the other minute, because that would confuse them. We're adults that seem confusing. Could you imagine that being for black boys and black girls? In the case with Dr. Umar Johnson. So he's not balanced. I'm sorry. And some people going to disagree with this video, but he's not balanced. Look how his personality is. Look what the things that he say to you. The way he describes some children. It's not balanced. Sometimes it sounds like he's practically speaking a curse over some kids, even if they got behavioral problems, even if the young teenagers was in the street. It's not balanced. We know that there's some youth that are trouble, but do you just cast them out and saying that one, I can't save them all, I can't reveal, some gonna have to be put down for good? What balanced black leader would you know say something like that? Because if that was the case, we wouldn't have had Malcolm X. We wouldn't have had any other people that everybody's path was put to greatness. We all have come down different paths, but it took maybe some had to go the harder way, some had to go another way. But just because, even if maybe it may take 3 or 4 times because you was around drugs, maybe you was involved in the game, maybe it take 3 or 4 times to tell. Sometimes God has to put you in the place, that young man or that young person in place, to the point that if I don't, this young person gonna lose it. And why I got them in the jail, and why I got them then they have to come to themselves. In some cases, for a certain amount of time. Some get hard hit and they go back out. Some people got to learn 2 or 3 times. But you don't cast nobody away in your own community. Because sometimes, and if that was the case, it's the same way. Some of us, it wasn't easy when you come out of sin. I'm just using this as an example. It's not easy. Sometimes you're going to feel tempted to go back in the sin that you do. And some of us fall by the weak side. And it's the same way, no matter what age bracket you are. But do you think that the Most High God just say, that's it? That's it, he just going to die. That's it. No. He don't ever give up. Jesus didn't give up. If that was the case, then most of us on this planet wouldn't be here. Think about it. So why would you want, even no matter, some people have to learn the hard way, but don't wish death on somebody. That's the last thing you want to do. Even though that there's young people, young black men are making bad decisions, don't wish death on them. Don't speak death over them, because they can always turn their life around. Something can grab them, and prayer can grab them. Prayer to the right one can grab them. Not hitting them with a bunch of philosophy, not hitting them with a bunch of bullcrap. Prayer can grab them and turn them into, from what Malcolm X went, to a great leader. There's some of them that got lead. The path wasn't chosen, so they had to find another way out to get what they're called their way out of poverty. And you put any poor people in any part of the world in any condition, that's what they're gonna do. It could be the wrong path, but it takes something. And maybe they've been, mercy, because they got away with it the first time, the second time, the third time, but maybe it may not be a 4th or 5th time. Mercy may not be at them. And if the Most High don't grab them, you have more young men dying. And if the young men die out, and the young black women die out, there's no going to be no more future black boys and black girls. That's why Dr. Umar Johnson need to think about what he say, because you speaking death over them. And then there's a scripture that said, whatever the power is in your tongue. You have to be wise, and that's why I say you have to be balanced on what you say over the young people. If you love black people like you say that you do, don't speak death over them. Even the ones that have problems, they're just misguided. They need to just pray for that they will get guided back to the right thing. And everybody has some dysfunctional feelings in the black community, just like in any other community. But you don't speak death over them. You don't just cast them away. They just got to be redirected by Him, and He will give them a chance. And some of them won't learn a chance, but at least they're not dying. Same with the young black women. They don't have to die out like that. They don't have to give into the debauchery. Because they are the seed carriers. So you have if older black women or younger black women, and show them how to be better women, that to be better women, mothers, and one day be great grandmothers, grandmothers to great grandmothers. It's not necessary for you to die because you carry the nation that will carry great men. This goes back to the Bible. And black people, you are part of that Bible. You are the Bible. And many people are coming to social media. There are white people coming, and their eyes are opening up. Some of you don't even see it. Some of them have been given a vision to see what the black community is. But you got to get up under the right spiritual system in order to bring the greatness out of you. This is the truth. This is who you are. You're not niggas and bitches. You're not, you're not all those things that you're saying. You cursing yourself every time you say that, even though it sounds like it's fun and entertainment. But you're cursing yourself. You're cursing yourself, and then the other generations repeat what you do, what you say. Believe me when I'm saying this. The tongue is powerful than what you think. Is powerful than an atomic bomb. It's powerful than a machine gun. It's powerful because it goes into manifestation. And the greatest thing that the devil, the spirit of evil, has got you to think. At one time, he was in the heavens with the Most High. And think about this. He was creator of music. He was made for music. He was made, and read this, and I believe it's in Luke, if I'm not mistaken. But he was created with music, tambourines, jewelry, everything. And he was part of the choir in heaven. This is where we get music from heaven into the earth. And whatever you sing, and whatever comes into the sound, you become whatever it is that you prophesy. If you say that you're gonna go out there and shoot and slap a bitch down, I'm just using that example, and shoot a Negro in the head, you are what you say. And you call yourself you the ultimate nigga. If that's what you say, you become what you say. That's why music is the most powerful thing. That's why a lot of stuff you see, and you say, why it has increased, James? Because they saw or what they said. Satan makes you think that that's as far as you can go. The devil lets you know this is as far as you go. That to be the most ultimate destructor, and to be whatever America say that young black children are going to be. This is the truth. So it's manifesting at the same time. You're getting it carries over to the other community. So you got two systems that going against you. You got the ultimate government that's trying to wipe you off the planet as a people. They hit you in the womb. They hit the black woman in the womb. It's trying to stop the black woman from producing, because they say that it's going to lead to more criminality. So how do we stop criminality? So-called future criminals. This is deep now. I'm about to tell you. This is deep. How do you stop future criminals? So abortion was raised. So in the black community, if you study the statistics, during Planned Parenthood, they taking you out. And so they took 30 million of you out. The second reason was, it was through the pharaohs of the land. They put drugs, the ones who in the land of the living. They put drugs so you can shoot it out. And so in the music industry, you singing out. put it in your spirit. That's what you are. So you activate on the music and the words that you sing, and a lot of your young black youth are dying in the streets because they prophesize to themselves. Death, because death is in the power of the tongue. It's manifested in all different inner cities throughout America. That's why you see it. And sometimes if it's come by another individual that look like you, or it come by someone who represent the government, the police officer. Watch what you manifest. Watch what you say, because it's manifested. So that's why you see all these shootings. That's what happened, because someone, unfortunately, in the place where Breonna Taylor lives, unfortunately where Tamir Rice lives, because something was manifested. The music which you listen to was manifested. The words that were manifested. The conversation that you manifested. It manifests. And the enemy is trying to wipe you out. But he's using these mechanisms because you have a greater power over you. As black people, you have a purpose. And that's when people try to tell you was original people, you were. But it was something connected to the Most High. But what happened was, you're going and trying to take on false ancient gods and ancient deities that's supposed to save you from the system. And those ancient deities who your ancestors worship has not protected them. That's why some of them are dying around you. That's why some in your community are dying in the inner city of America and elsewhere. That's why. It's what you worship. You allowed out into the atmosphere. You spoke it, you sung it. I'm trying to tell you, the power of the tongue is powerful, what you think. And I feel bad that some churches have not been anointed to give the young people, or someone has been bold enough in those places to tell them, you singing your destruction. And then the third thing that hits you is what you eat. And what you eat and what you smoke and what you drink. That's how you die in fester. You don't even make it to the ripe old age. You're dying, and some of you are dying in the black community before your grandparents. Your grandparents are outliving you. Granduncles outliving. You know I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying. It's not meant for you to leave the world this way. It's not meant. That's why J. Morrison and Dr. Umar Johnson don't understand. Don't go along and coincide with the ignorance and trying to gain and sell out and be the ultimate Judas while millions of them die. That's not a proper legacy. Don't hit a wounded people that's have 5 things come against them in the black community. Don't do this. Do the right thing. Don't sell out. Don't sell it to the devil. Don't sell it to Satan just to gain your earthly wealth. If you love black people, if you love your own people, don't lie to your people. Stop with the cunning and crafting. They're not going to respect you when they wake up and find out they've been misled. Don't cut and craft people, Jay Morrison. This is not the way. Do the right thing. Revise the plan. Revise your plan. Do not use the legacy, our legacy like this. Don't do this. And anybody, don't do this. Don't go for the false gods. Don't go to false messiahs, because they're not going to protect you. You got an entity. What entity you worship, what the ancestors did. In the end, they find out when they left this earth that They didn't go. The entity wasn't there. It was there to take you down. That the really the one that put you in your mother's womb, the one that come before before the judgment not to hit your household. Look at what's going around with the pandemic. It's crossing all racial lines, and especially if you're in poverty. You're about to go into more poverty. Some people are going to go into more poverty, and then it's going to make you to the point, and it's going to be like some places it's going into might be to a civil war, where people are going to be breaking into people's houses, which is already happening, and robbing and trying to gain what they loot, because it gets to desperation. Just like any other group of people here in the United States. But I'm saying it particularly to these men. You want a great legacy. That's not the way to go about doing it. And you know that there's a certain system that it is just as wrong for you, and they psychologically, you know things that they don't know. Don't use it for your own advantage. Don't use if Dr. Umar Johnson, don't use it to your own advantage. Don't use it just to manipulate women. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not cool. And you know some things that they may not know as far as the human personality. Don't do this. That's not the way you do it. Jay Morrison, for you, there's some black people that don't know about real estate and how the whole process goes about flip. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't manipulate people who don't have much, that don't have the education, understanding much. My prayer is that someone go in there who is a psychiatrist who really loves their people, who understand black children and black women and black men as far as their mental health, and they there to go and help them, to set them the bondage free over their mind. And as far as the wealth gap, as far as getting property and land, things like that, my prayer for them is that they would that someone would come to with the truth and honesty out of the black community. In both cases, someone black will be straight up and honest with no strings attached. That someone would be able to trust them and say, hey, we got to help our people. Because you heard what Dr. Claude Anderson says, the wealth gap. The reality is he's right. You are you're about to be the fourth or maybe fifth class in America. And you don't need someone running game on you from your own community. Because they anticipate the same thing that the people who set up the structure of your destruction, to get you where you are in your city, in your town, where you live at right now, while other people have got special grants as far as the finances part of it, and able to get grants and special things. And you see how the gentrification, how the way most of y'all was raised in the city, where your town, where you from, and how the way the wealth transcend the people that come back towards the city, get the land towards the city, and this is done purposely, because the land near this town, the city, was more than the land what it was, so they had to find a way to get the blacks with one of the groups, along with some poor whites and other people, shift them out, and it was motivated by politics. Both of them agree, even if they had to look at someone that looked like you to keep you in bondage. That's why your neighborhoods is in the condition that it is, because they had took the bait. And they will get their little legacy, that the ones that passed away, that came out of their district, they'll get a little legacy. But for the mass to know the truth about what did they do to help out the masses of their people, what did they do they make a clearance of their people to come out and change their destiny. This is what it comes down to. Change the playing field. That'll be my advice. Cut with the shenanigans, the antics. And for many other people like that on YouTube and people who got that kind of mindset, don't do your people like this. Don't do it. Don't get up there to a certain position and rob and don't think that someone's gonna find you out. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Because there are people with they may not be in the position, but they know when they're being played. And no matter if you're in the corporate office to the lowest of the street, people have a great discernment when they're getting played. They know when something is not right. And they can prove that you're being manipulative, and they can prove they got the receipts, and they can prove that you're not being honest with the masses of your people. The reason why Dr. Umar is not going to have the masses, a number of people, because he's not balanced. He's not balanced. That's why a lot of people don't take his school seriously, because he's not balanced. When someone's pulling up, like a Leonard Arnold is pulling up old video, Afro Gali is pulling up video saying, psychologically, look at this man. Look at him. Psychologically, look. This is not a professional doctor. And then Leonard Arnold looking at it, and then you have people like E and J pulling out things from what they see, and other people like them, King Kong die. He's pulling. This is what they're telling you, and they got the evidence. They have the evidence. They say, look, something wrong with this picture, and they got another person though. There's something wrong with this picture. There's something wrong with this picture. You don't. It's basically saying, and they saying that you don't. Your legacy, you're not building a proper legacy. Basically, that's what they're saying. And they come out, all these people that I'm pointing out, they come out, they see the hurt and the pain, just like they know this. They know the guy who for what common sense. He sees this stuff, and he's articulate at his division of finances. He sees this, and we got to stop thinking just because you're going to run some game over some other black people that are educated because they got a college degree. You got some black people like that, but you got some black people on YouTube who are very well rounded. They're very well balanced. You can't keep running game on folks and don't think that someone, and especially you got this many subscribers and coming to your page and stuff, they're going to pick up on the false. They're going to pick it up and let them know and going to prove I'm not just hating on you. I'm showing you you're being a devil. You're being evil. You're being a Judas. And you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Why do you think that you got some people who are going from a black to Democrat to a Republican, black Republican? Why do you think that happens? But at the end of the day, there's something, the majority would say, whether Republican or Democrat, black, if they're black, they come from the same community, and then both allies his allies saying, yeah, pull for us. See how many blacks you can get over your direction. See how many blacks you get over your direction. But the overall goal, the vast majority of the black people in the black community throughout the country is going to suffer. Either way, somehow, some of them are going to suffer at some point in politics, whether there's a Democrat or whether it's the Republican side. So that's what they do. Kamala Harris going down to Jacob Blake, it was a power play, because they want to keep the thing that make Trump continually the racist, but Trump wasn't the only one. But Trump wasn't in office when Kamala was in office. He wasn't in office when Joe Biden was in office. Yeah, Trump did some racist stuff with his throwing people out into the street, discrimination. I get it. That's what I get that from his past. But Kamala and them signed legislation and law to take millions of black men, thousands of black men, from their homes. From even though some committed crimes, but the crime didn't equal to the amount of punishment that their white counterparts did. This came out of the Democrat that Joe Biden, who his black friend Obama caping for him along with his wife. Don't you see? Don't you see that? And there's been some racial stuff on the Republican side too. You know, like I said with Trump, he discriminated with some black tenants and closed down some buildings and casinos. Yeah, he did some stuff like that. He did on a private level. They did it on a federal level. But either way, this, if you're going to vote, this is, you got two opposites of the ends. But this end did more to the black community than anything. And thousands of black men who got hit with a similar selling bag of weed or something like that practically got life for it. The white counterpart got sent for a bag of weed, 2 to 4 years. Black male, 10 to 15 to 20, 30 years. Most of his man life is gone. He can't go back out there and produce and create more children. Don't you see? Don't you see? This is what the Kamala Harris and Joe Biden's did. It was a power play. This is what they set you up again. They using you again. They playing because there's certain about it comes back to certain demographic of African Americans that they vote is count. But once they get what they in, and that's why they wanted to push the numbers of the immigrants. It's because they want to make you so that your vote at some point don't even count. And they will use anybody who co-sign with them. Go get their black friends to put them out there. It sound cool. I'll do this for you. I'll send you. You can have much more malt liquor and weed that you want, and I won't punish you. It's like I did. They'll do anything just to play into the poverty. Some people with the poverty. And blah, blah, oh, hey, cool anymore. Yeah, shoot, yeah, because that Trump was racist. Yeah. And most of us, when you sit down and you research and you do history, you see the same thing over and over again. And so they're going to play you. But this is the same demographic community, getting back to these two individuals, that why are you doing what they're doing? Why are you taking advantage of it in your own way to gain your own power? A leader is not respected by manipulating people. A leader is not being flip-floppy. A great leader don't do that and want a legacy among his own people. Don't do this for the history books and get amass respect. A leader don't desire worship. Great leaders, if they give it to credit to the Most High, they will already be great leaders. But they got to take off the crown at some point and give it to the ultimate one, who created everything to bring them up when they really wasn't nothing, to bring them up when their name wasn't even known in the land. It was for some time. That's the difference between a great leader. Listen what I'm saying. And anybody who listen that know or friends with them, listen what I'm saying. Look at the great leaders, black leaders. And if you go to the Bible, you go to your commit book, you go to the Egypt, you go to any other, but that's how great they had to be balanced. Even the ones that were opposed to the Most High had to, even though they had some black issues, but they had to be balanced. So that's what I got to say about that one. I hope this one will get some attention and get somebody who really listen to me by my spirit. It's like I said, don't look at the appearance. I know I don't look like what the words or present whatever it is out there. But listen to the words, what I'm saying. And if you friends with Jay Morrison, you friends with Dr. Umar Johnson, and you one of their fans, you would have to sit down and ponder this in your thought. Ponder this in your thought. What makes it? How did those leaders that came great, just like your white counterparts, they look at their great leaders. What made them great? Was they all balanced? Did you see them all balanced? Talking crazy? Just saying. What makes them great? That's why people are coming at them like this, because they're off balance. And they pass, and they go to another part of the world, trying to seem like they're balanced. Then sooner or later, they're gonna find out he's off balance, because thanks to the internet, YouTube and stuff like that, they see this man, and they gonna know. They gonna have discernment over there too. They might think you might talk the good game, but the African is like anybody else. They gonna see your results. What is a great leader? Some of them know what great leaders is. Some of them don't know what corrupt leaders is. That's why some of them over here in the United States, they know a great leader. Among the people in the Caribbean and Africa, they know what a great leader is supposed to do. Don't insult their intelligence, and don't come over thinking that you're going to outwit them. They know what great leaders is. They know what great revolutionaries is. They know. Don't go over there thinking that you above them. They have the same discernment that you do. Just because they have a different accent, different way. So it's something to think about. And sorry again, this message is so long, but it must be said. You want to be a great leader, always got to be balanced. Cannot be, because otherwise people are going to think you're crazy. They're going to think something wrong with you. If you off over here and you over here and you talk about something over here and you're trying to anticipate, you're not focused on one thing. You're trying to grab some, be political over here. You're trying to be this over here, and you're not staying focused on doing one goal at one time, and then you get up to the goal. But if you're trying to do something, people are going to know that you're off balance. And that's why they're going to think, who is this guy? That's why I said when you raising donations and stuff for school, and you ain't going about it the proper way, they're not going to respect you. Because there's people that know the process of opening up a school. There's like they know how to properly run a business and accumulate wealth through its real estate and hedge fund and raising up things like that. They know. Black people that know this is in here in the United States as well as overseas. I've seen them on YouTube and different platforms. And they're not shining, they're not bragging, they're not doing all these, they out there at one track mind. And they want one thing, that's their gift, finances. That's what they do. And they're smart at it, they're good at it. They're not over here trying to take on other subjects. And they consistently, they go from one to the other. They tell you from the good things and what they learn from their mistakes. That's a person is stable. They make every once in a while talk about something, but they stay stable. One thing. There's a couple of black women that teach finance that are billionaires on here. Probably practically almost a millionaire. Run Fortune companies. They're stable. Look at the stability. Some of you know that those black women. They're stable. Listen to them. They know what they're talking about. One woman I seen was Erica Williams, and a few other women that they run legit operations. They're stable. They're educated. They're not out there talking some foolishness. They ain't got time for foolishness. They try and point you to the way, and they, cause they know that's their reward. They know they went through the struggle, so that's their true reward. So whatever God gifted those black women, to bring them to the point, and they're creating their own legacy, and people going and no one's gonna come at them because they know legacy as they get older means something. How many people did I affect? How many people did I give information? Some people might not take them seriously, but the ones who did are going to be blessed. That's all what I'm saying. And many women out there that teach finances. There's a couple other women, well-known women on YouTube. They're very smart, and they're not talking this crazy stuff. They're not trying to be something. They're not extravagant. They ain't trying to be super bitch of the year and things like that. You know what I'm saying? They're balanced. There are black women that are balanced. There are black women I've seen on YouTube that are very balanced. They're very intellectual. They're balanced, and they're real. They're very balanced. If anything, that sister can. I would listen to the balanced women. Just as well, very balanced black men. That I said earlier. So I hope people would take this advice and know the difference between what is balance. And you'll see. Think about this, what I'm saying. Who's going to have the greater legacy? Someone who's being crafty and cunning, who you see their result, what their fruit going to turn out to be, what their actions going to turn out to be. Are they showing you their fruit? Or are they showing you the receipts of their fruit? And they're able to document it without forgery, without cunning and crafty, being honest, forthcoming. Then the people are laying the legacy. They're balanced when they teach. They're balanced in everything, discussion in life. They're not on no foolishness. They're not on no coonery, as they would say. They balance. Then my advice, then the people you need to listen to. Finances, and then a few people that know how to run a school, in the case of school for black children. Go to an actual website where they actually running the school, and that's the ones for black boys and black girls. Watch the people; they're balanced. They're not off the wall on some stuff. They're not on YouTube. If they use YouTube as for something, they're balanced. Black men, these are black men and black women that operate black schools for black boys and black. They're not talking crazy. They're not talking all off the wall, all this stuff like that. They built it. They got it the proper way. They had the proper structure, and they got the structure and everything, and it was done. They're not using people's name just for notoriety to build themselves up. They're not using some people who have great names they don't have to do that. And say that they relate to somebody that they're not related to. They can't connect to, they're not connected to. You don't have to do that just to prove that. Then they kind of find out later on that the people who are actually descendants of the people said they're not no relations to us. He's not related to us. He's capitalizing off our name. That's cold-blooded to do that. Everybody say, yeah, I'm related to the people of Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I ain't got no relatives in Tulsa, and I wouldn't dare use a tragedy like that to further my cause, my death. These are my people. Yeah, but you don't use something to gain something off of something. When those your people have no connection to that. Your relatives was not from that town, not from that part of the area. You're not descendants of those ones. Yeah, they were black, but them the ones that suffered that, and that's cold, man. That's cold. But anyway, I ramble long enough. But you guys have a good day out there. But my advice for the people out there: look for the balanced people. Don't look for the people that's just talking crap. Look for the ones who are about that business. Till next time, you guys take care out there. You be blessed. wherever you are in the land of the living. Bye now.